Thomas Tuchel, thank you from the very bottom of my heart for what you have done and what you will continue to do for English football. It's been mesmerising, the journey that you've taken us on, the emotional roller coaster, the highs and the lows. It's been absolutely fabulous to be part of. And every 4 years or 2 years, when international football comes around and I can stand there and watch my country play, it is the greatest honour for me to do so. And it's even more joy when a country like England finally plays to their strengths and finally plays attacking football and finally makes use of the abundance of talent, the array of, the wingers, the central attacking midfielders. So I thank you, and I cannot emphasize my gratitude enough towards you. And what a performance, what a game we witnessed. And for me, it was a very bizarre evening because I had envisaged, okay, this game will start at 2 a.m. Germany time. And I was telling myself, okay, I'll watch the first half. In fact, I originally said I'm not going to watch any of the Brazil-Norway game. Then I said, okay, first half. Then I attempted to go to bed. Couldn't, you know how it is after you look at your phone, you're still wired, you're still running, your brain's still going. And I was like, okay, I'll watch the game. I think shortly after the game finished, much to my surprise, Norway won. It was pushed back the start time, whenever, it was 15 or 30 minutes after, it was pushed back by now, and I was thinking to myself, oh God, what will I do? So I contemplated whether doing an all-night, and I just came to the conclusion that it wouldn't make any sense just because I had other things going on and I had to go out early in the morning. So I think I fell asleep at around 1:15, woke up automatically. I'd set my alarm for 4 because I didn't think it would make sense to watch from the start of the first half just because of sort of my feeling of the game scenario. And so, in my opinion, I just naturally woke up. I think it was 3:34, and it was, or 3:37. Took a couple of minutes to gather my bearings, and then I switched on the phone, put on the VPN, and I flicked on the football, and it was 2-1. So I'd missed 3 goals. I'd missed Bellingham's consecutive goals within, I think, the time span of about 3 minutes, followed by Kinura's strike in the penalty area to reduce the lead to 2-1. And so I caught the last 5 minutes of the first half, and pulsating. I didn't know what to do. I was so tense, and unlike, or perhaps I was, a lot of people had hyped this game up, and yes, it was a big moment, a big match, given the magnitude, given what was at stake. But I don't know. For me, I always felt quite composed and confident in England that they would win. And, historically, under Southgate, I'm just talking about his tenure in Tuchel's, England have always fared well against the easy to medium opponents, and they've struggled against the better teams, the Frances, the Spains, the Argentinas, Croatia in 2018, obviously, when they were still probably a bit better. So I always was quietly confident that England would win. And now going into the interval with a 2-1 lead was important. And Mexico won on the front foot. So kind of the last 5 minutes, they missed a lot of chances. Jude Bellingham came in the way of a should-be sitter. Pickford made an outstanding stop to ensure that England went into half-time on top. And I don't know, I remember just thinking to myself, just breathe. I enjoyed ITV's coverage. For me, it's always a true blessing to be able to catch the English commentary because it kind of has a more emotional attachment. I find myself more in tune and at ease listening to it. It's sort of a sense of comfort that comes my way. And when the first half resumed, it was, back and forth. I think England I don't know, I can't recall if they made a substitution after the first half, but it was the team that you would expect to see. Obviously, Kwanzaa right back, and for the first, I think it was 10, 15 minutes, I think it was sometime 50th minute, Kwanzaa was sent off. And I was sitting there asking myself, first of all, the commentator kind of was expecting it to be a red card. I hadn't seen the tackle in close-up, so I was just thinking to myself, and also because the referee initially had waved for play to continue, and England had gotten the ball deep into Mexico's half, I think even into their penalty area, if I'm not mistaken. And then, only then, when he stopped play, did the fourth official ask him to go to the monitor. And in 9.9 cases out of 10, anything that goes to the monitor will be overturned and will be sort of given the decision will then be given based off of sort of what the reason he goes to the monitor. And so you could already feel the tension, the nerves building up that Kwanzaa was going to unfortunately be on the bad end of a tackle. That, in my opinion, in this day and age, yes, I understand when you have player protection at the forefront of things. Is it enough to merit a red card? I don't think so, especially not after the referee went on play. Like, I can understand if you yellow card and then you upgrade it to red. I understand that, right? But completely just overturning it from nothing to a red card, I think that kind of destroys the spirit of the game. Anyway, England forced to go down to 10 men, and a brilliant response. I think that was the obviously the main difference maker was that England, within the next 5 minutes, kind of had to regather, reset, and just accept the challenge that this was going to be an onslaught from Mexico for the final 25-30 minutes. But they were resilient and responded in nice fashion. Harry Kane, obviously, with a kind of header after Jordan Pickford booted it out, and Gordon won the penalty, and that was a crucial moment, proved to be the difference maker. Harry Kane slotted at home the penalty, left corner, and so 3-1. And I think shortly after that, it was another weird VAR decision, and for me, it was second manner, where initially nothing was given. Right, the referee even continued play yet again, and then he was asked to go to the monitor, and then Harry Kane, I think maybe he got a yellow card, and then was given a penalty, and my heart was racing, as it is always when England play, but at a different level. But thankfully, the exposure and the experience of being an England fan has showed me that there are far more painful moments than these. I've experienced heartbreak. The Euros final. For me, the personal low was the France game. I had expected us, the momentum. We were doing so well in the second half. After we conceded, we won the penalty. Harry Kane skied it. And obviously, perhaps to top it off, the Spain loss in the final of the Euros 2024. Anyway, from then on, it was just Mexico, possession. Tuchel obviously changed the system to, I think it was 4-3-1. No, a 5-3-1. And back five, low block, and just defend. And I cannot applaud and commend the individual players enough for the courage they displayed, what they left out there, especially Jude Bellingham, especially Harry Kane, especially Declan Rice, once again, Jordan Pickford putting him a shift, John Stones coming off clutch from the bench, as well as Dan Burn making his first World Cup appearance ever. Guys, this is why they were picked, and I think we can only go back to Tuchel's selection, which was, I think, sometime in, I believe, end of May, when people were lamenting it. And they were saying, why have you picked Jal Kwanzaa? Why have you picked Dan Burn? Why have you picked these and these players? And it was simply because different players, they had different attributes and they had more experience. And again, Tuchel picked his squad not on the basis of the 26 best players in England, but on the basis of what individuals could make up the best team. And tonight we were proved right or wrong, depending on what side of the argument you were on. And Tuchel showed us why we need leaders, why we need to sometimes play a different system. And there's so much to be said about England. They do manage to always find it to make it a difficult game, irrespective of the opponent. So it makes you wonder how they will fare against the more potent opponents. Now with Norway, I think that this will be an interesting game. I still think we can win. And that the real test will then come against Argentina, because several factors will be at play, and most notably perhaps I'm just so disappointed, and I made a video about this in German, is that FIFA really I understand FIFA want to protect their players, but the abundance or the blatant and obvious decisions going against Cape Verde, the abundance of extra time you gave Argentina when it was 1-1 to try and give them a late winner, and then you give Cape Verde 3 minutes and the referee literally blows his whistle 15 seconds after the third minute expired, when I think it was Molina or somebody, they didn't stop the play, right? He was allowed to be rushed onto the pitch. So I think it's just unjust, and I'm just scared that what happened in Mexico, because most of the decisions went against us and unjustly, will happen to us in Argentina or against Argentina on a larger scale. And because, semi-finals is different to round of 16, tempers are flaring, and I just will want to urge England to stay cool. Otherwise, I'll say this. If England manage to win, it will not only will Thomas Tuchel be knighted, but this will go down as perhaps one of the best managerial displays for what he has had to handle. Sort of the criticism, the media, the different scenarios, going to the Azteca, the altitude, terrible fans, Reece James injury, Jed Spence injury, Gerald Kwanzaa book, gonna miss the game now. Gerald Kwanzaa injury, Bukayo Saka not being fully fit, perhaps making a bad call, bad judgment with Noni Madueke. So much has gone wrong, and England yet find themselves to be in a pretty decent position. I will make a separate. Actually, I'll touch upon this now just to kind of close it off. But I just about an hour ago read an article that said I think 4 or 5 players are at risk of a ban in the semi-finals should they get another yellow card. Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, I think it was Nico O'Reilly, Mark Gahey, perhaps. Oh no, it was Declan Rice. So those 4 or 5 players. I don't know if it was Gahey or not. And I was thinking to myself, if even one of them, perhaps less so with Nico O'Reilly because I think he hasn't had the best of tournaments. But if Declan Rice is out, if Jude Bellingham is out, and imagine if Harry Kane is out, one of those players, and that's disaster for England. So Tuchel will have to think hard about how he structures his team, how he wants them to play, and what lineup he will field, because I think that will matter. I wouldn't mind seeing perhaps Bellingham off the bench, because Bellingham, he gets in a lot of tackles, but on the flip side, he will then get a lot of cards. So let's see. I'm curious to see what happens. Fingers crossed. I'm extremely proud and passionate and happy to see England get this far, and I know that we're able to do a lot more. So let's see how the rest of the World Cup pans out.